The voice of the Brewers, the soundtrack of summer for so many in Milwaukee and throughout the entire state of Wisconsin, is now silent.
Years have slipped away like a blink of an eye.
Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, died today at the age of 90.
Yet, the memories live on forever. Good night, everybody.
Welcome to the Friday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show, and I don't want to make you work too hard on a Friday afternoon. The weekend is so close. For many people, it's a three-day weekend with not just the presidential inauguration. On Monday, it's also Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so for a lot of schools, pretty much every government office, and some private businesses, you got a three-day weekend. But I don't want to make you work too hard in front of that. I really don't want to make you work too hard. But I do have a pop quiz for you. How many times has the United States Constitution been amended? Paul, first guess is yours. Very good. Paul got it on the absolute first guess. Eric Paulson is training to produce this show and he whispered it into Paul's ear. So I'm giving you half credit, even though I should fail you both for cheating on this pop quiz. Yes, everyone knows the Constitution has been amended 27 times. Or at least we thought we knew that. Did you know? The second question of your pop quiz. When is the last time the United States Constitution was amended? 1971? That is incorrect. In fact, you're not even close. The correct answer is today. And we no longer have 27 amendments. We, in fact, have 28. Oh, you didn't know the Constitution was amended today? I'm guaranteeing most of you didn't. Even smart guy Eric Paulson, producer trainee / constitutional scholar in there, was surprised the Constitution was actually amended today. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, wait a second. I thought it took a whole lot to amend the Constitution. I thought there needed to be a vote of 2/3 of members of the House and Senate have to propose an amendment, and then 3/4 of state legislatures or state ratifying conventions need to ratify the amendment for it to take effect and for the Constitution to be amended. I thought that was a difficult process. I thought I would have heard something if the Constitution was just randomly ratified today. You would think so, wouldn't you? But in fact, today, the final day of the Biden administration, I mean, yes, technically Saturday and Sunday come before Monday's inauguration of President-elect Trump. But let's be honest with you, there is not a Democrat in government alive who works on the weekends. You'll be lucky if you can find one working on a Friday afternoon. So this is really, for all intents and purposes, the final day of the Biden administration. The Constitution was amended today, on the very last day of Joe Biden's term in office. He unilaterally declared that the Constitution now has 28 amendments. No, I am not making this up. In a fit of either last-second tyranny or, far more likely, dementia, Biden, via a tweet, declared that the Constitution has been amended today. Just about an hour or so ago, he reiterated this grand autocratic proclamation in a speech to supporters.
Throughout my career, I've been clear. No one should be discriminated against based on their sex. And in order for the amendment to be ratified, it requires 3/4 of the states to ratify it. That benchmark was passed when Virginia ratified the ERA a few years ago. Today, I affirm the Equal Rights Amendment to have cleared all the necessary hurdles to be added to the U.S. Constitution now. The Equal Rights Amendment is the law of the land now. It's the 28th Amendment to the Constitution now.
It's, not. Virginia ratifying the Equal Rights Amendment did not give it power. The National Archives has confirmed this over and over and over again. The states didn't ratify the 28th Amendment, the Equal Rights Amendment, which was proposed way back in 1971, but has never had the support necessary to make it a full amendment to the Constitution. None of the states got enough support in order to get the amendment passed by the deadline. A presidential proclamation, or in this case, a presidential post on X, doesn't change that. It doesn't negate the nearly 250-year-old precedent that we have in this country for amending the Constitution that was set forth in, wait for it, the Constitution. I'll explain why this seemingly insane thing actually matters a great deal, even on this, the final day of Joe Biden's presidency. Again, accounting for the fact that he's probably going to take a nap for the next 2 days. We're just lucky, I guess, that for the final Friday that he's in office, he is working for the very first time on a Friday in 4 years. I will explain why exactly this matters in just 1 second, but first, the 3 o'clock word in the cold, hard cash contest on a warm, pleasant, sunny day. It's anything but cold, but you still can win some money in the cold hard cash contest because the word this hour is indeed money. M-O-N-E-Y, money. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword money to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash instantly. Now, here's how the process is supposed to work. You enter the contest, and we have an algorithm that randomly picks one of the entries almost immediately after the contest closes at 55 past the hour. That algorithm then alerts somebody in our contesting division here at iHeartMedia, and they will call you, usually from an unlisted or private number, and tell you you've won. Now, that's usually how the contest works, but instead, I, as the newly minted afternoon drive host in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I am going to assume the awesome power that my position gives me, and I'm just going to declare that, you know what, how about you? Frank in West Dallas, I declare that you are the winner of the nationwide contest. Congratulations, Frank. You have just won $1,000 in our cold hard cash contest. No need for anybody else to enter this hour. Just wait until 4 o'clock. I have already declared that this contest is over. That's essentially what Joe Biden did, but this is worth something a whole heck of a lot more than $1,000. This, at its very heart, at its very core, is the very sort of tyrannical behavior that Joe Biden has spent 4 consecutive years warning about if Trump is reelected. Well, Trump was. And on the very last day in office for the great defender of democracy, Joe Biden, he decided to just sort of declare, like a king would, that something that he politically wants, his political preference, is now the law of the land, even though it is most certainly not. Can any left-winger or any lib listening to me, I know you're probably too scared to call in and defend this or pretty much anything else the Biden administration has done for the past 4 years, but can anybody please explain to me how Donald Trump could do something more autocratic than this? just waving his magic wand. This is sort of like, and a lot of people on X are making this comparison, that old episode of The Office where Michael's finances get to a point where he needs to declare bankruptcy, and instead of contacting an attorney, he just walks out to the middle of the office and yells, "I declare bankruptcy!" That's just what Joe Biden did. He kind of declared that the Constitution was amended. He doesn't have that power. No single person, president or God king, that he in his delusional state imagines himself to be, has that power in this country. The Constitution is meant to be very, 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 very difficult to amend, which is why it's only happened 27 times, and the first 10 times it happened were in one fell swoop at the Constitutional Convention so that it would be able to pass, so that the Constitution itself would be able to ratify those first 10 amendments. How about you, smart guy, Eric Paulson? What are they called? First 10 amendments. Yeah, that's right. The Bill of Rights. Paul is trying to step all over his trainee's thunder. He's screaming, Bill of Rights! Bill of Rights! I heard Paulson say it first. If two radio producers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, understand this much about the Constitution, how is it that the President of the United States, or rather the actual power behind the almost literal throne here, don't understand that just sort of yelling, "I declare the Constitution Amendment," doesn't work? Never has. Never will. Could this be Biden so desperate for a win, any sort of win, any sort of legacy, that he's doing this? Or was this the last desperate gasp of the 30 and 40-something they-thems who are really running the presidency and have been for the past 4 years, trying to cement their legacy as the most progressive, forward-thinking administration in history? The truth is, in doing this, even if all of them involved knew full well that it would not take effect, it did not have the power of law, just sort of declaring, and they knew how asinine and foolish this would look in front of the American people, it still has a long-reaching impact. In 3 days, nobody is going to remember Joe Biden, or they'll remember him in the same way that we remember Jimmy Carter and his presidency. Unfortunately for old Joe, he's a little bit too old and frail and a lot too self-centered to spend his time building homes for Habitat for Humanity to try to rebuild his own image. We'll remember him as a failed president. We'll remember him as the guy who was so bad, even his own party couldn't stomach the idea of him running again, and staged a coup against him. But what America should really look forward with a general sense of concern is the fact that there was somebody, at least, who thought that you could actually just sort of declare the Constitution to be amended. Whether it was Biden, whether it was one of the cadre of 30 and 40-something they-thems, nameless, faceless though they may be, there are actually people, and they exist almost exclusively on the left, but the right has some of them too, who think that power in America is based on power itself, that the only thing that authorizes the exercise of said power is the ability to exercise power. Military, law enforcement, judicial, whatever it is, that authority and power in this country comes from the tip of a sword and not from the Constitution itself, that somehow government does not rely on the consent of the governed, but rather just the acquisition and threat or use of power. I'm not sure what led to this decision. And we can laugh at it, and frankly, I spent a lot of time laughing at it when I saw that tweet late this morning. But it really is a little bit concerning, especially when you consider that these are the people who consider themselves to be the great defenders of democracy. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style.
You know, the new year is a great time to reconsider how we do things, like how to make things better in 2025. Like when it comes to the whole struggle of how to pay for your health care, people generally are not happy with the status quo. But there's good news. There's a much better option, and it's proven too. MediShare is refreshing. You can save thousands of dollars a year. Many save up to $500 a month, seriously. And you get to choose from a huge network of doctors and providers. And maybe the best part, and we know this from research on why people join MediShare, they love this. Instead of sending your money every month to a huge corporation that might fund all sorts of procedures or things you don't believe in, you're joining a faith-based network of people who actually care about each other. And like I said, that's refreshing. There is a better option. You don't have to do it the way you've always done it. You can make a change and start saving now. Here's the number. They're easy to talk to. Call 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
I'm Kelly Lammert from Clean Living Environments. Virtually everyone who cleans ducts repairs and sells air conditioners, furnaces, water heaters, or whatever. Duct cleaning is secondary. Clean Living Environments, partners for your comfort and health and your economy. Our superior agitation, high-power suction gets more of everything you don't want in ducts out than suction alone can. We're happy with a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. We charge less for superior duct cleaning. Once ducts are Clean Living Environments clean, our ducts-only technicians can seal them. Neighboring states give $500 energy bill credits for existing homeowners who have ducts sealed because sealing saves natural gas waste forever, helping heated or cooled air get where it's supposed to be. If you've been quoted for duct cleaning, I personally guarantee Clean Living Environments will get more out of your ducts, charging less. With natural gas prices skyrocketing upward, Clean Living Environments AeroSeal duct cleaning is a prudent, long-term home budget saver. Get more out of your ducts, cleanlivingenvironments.com. That's cleanlivingenvironments.com.
It's not the first time this has happened. At Lisbon Storm Screen and Door, we take a lot of pride in a lot of things, and providing top-notch service for customers who buy our high-quality windows and doors is one of them. What this leads to is happy customers. Unfortunately, it can also lead to talent poachers. Now, we don't take it personally. We understand it's a dog-eat-dog business, and everybody out there's clawing to get good people. And we do all we can to hold on to ours. So when a big-name window company calls our service manager directly to offer him a position because he fixed one of their jobs that they couldn't, we just take it in stride. It's a badge of honor. This is David Wilhelm. You can skip the frustration of poor workmanship. At Lisbon Storm Screen and Door, we have good people that take pride in their work. And when you join that with the best products this industry has to offer, you'll see why we're your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find out more at lisbonstorm.com.
I'm Dan O'Donnell. Time now for This Week with Annex Wealth Management. And this week, we are talking about the beginning of the year, the beginning of a new presidential administration. It's a time for new beginnings. Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex Wealth Management, joining me. Dave, it is a time of new beginnings.
It really is. We're also in the third year of a bull market. We went back and looked at the data for the last 75 years, and it shows that it might be a bit of a grind. We also went back and we checked the 24 top analysts on Wall Street. They all have their estimates in the S&P 500, Dan, around 6,000 to 7,000. Now, saying that we're under 6,000 right now, that shows some growth, even though not as much as it has been for the last 2 years. And so you think about really what's going to go into it, and as you set it up, the market's going to have to take its signals from fiscal policy and policy changes, especially from immigration to tariffs to the change in the tax cuts. So all of that is going to be part of it, as well as any outlier that we don't know about, such as some potential geopolitical risk. All of our offices, folks, are bristling right now with new prospective clients because we offer comprehensive planning, financial planning, tax planning, estate planning, investment planning, all as a fee-only fiduciary. That means transparency and diligence.
And as much as we're talking about the new, we always have to pay taxes. And that is a big part of what you need to be doing right now, thinking about getting all your documents together and getting to annexwealth.com for all the reasons that Dave said. For Dave Spano, he is the CEO of Annex. I am Dan O'Donnell. Thank you so much for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Tour de force of truth, the sort of truth the rest of the media might have once reported, but unfortunately now ignores or outright covers up. Like the fact that Joe Biden did one of the most tyrannical things I think any president has ever actually done today, and it's barely even being mentioned. Now, in part, this is because this is most likely the final day of his term. I say most likely because there is the off chance that someone in the Biden administration will work either tomorrow or Sunday, but I'm guessing absolutely not. If there's one thing I know about left-wingers, especially those in government, they're not particularly hardworking. In fact, one of the best bits my good friend and predecessor Mark Belling did was Bureaucrat Watch, back when it was allowed to call somebody on the radio and, sort of put them on the spot. This was the 1990s. It was sort of the golden age of prank calls before the advent of caller ID. Belling would just sort of randomly call government offices across Wisconsin to see if there was anybody working. Surprise, surprise, barely anybody ever was. Biden unilaterally declaring via a tweet, no less, that the Equal Rights Amendment, which was first proposed in 1972, is in the year of our Lord 2025 a part of the Constitution. Folks, I know I get a little nerdy and I get a little in-depth when it comes to constitutional law and the rule of law and jurisprudence and stuff like that. I've got a legal background, and this is really where my passion is. It's constitutional governance. But these are foundation. It does not get bigger than this in terms of foundational issues for this country. You have a Biden administration that has repeatedly ignored court orders, even orders by the United States Supreme Court, on the issue of student loan forgiveness, which wasn't actually loan forgiveness at all. You might call it a massive wealth transfer from those who did not take out ridiculous student loans to get queer studies degrees to those who did take out ridiculous student loans to get queer studies degrees, all in an effort to buy votes ahead of the 2024 presidential election. The Supreme Court said this is absolutely unconstitutional. The Biden administration can't do it. The Biden administration did it anyway, and Biden repeatedly bragged about doing it anyway. What happens to this country if a president just sort of decides that the other two co-equal branches of government no longer have any authority over him? He is, after all, the one with the military. He is, after all, the one with the Justice Department. And this gets to the heart of what the Biden administration over the past 4 years was all about, using power against political enemies to buy votes, to cover up its own indiscretions and outright crimes, and to criminalize opposition to it. In other words, this is a fitting capstone on the Biden administration as a whole. Joe Biden just sort of going full-on tyrant and saying, you know what? I am the Constitution now. Congress did indeed pass the Equal Rights Amendment in 1972. It passed both houses of Congress with the requisite 2/3 votes. But then it goes to the states, and the states can either have ratifying conventions or just take a vote in the state legislature. For this particular amendment, Congress gave a deadline of 7 years for the requisite number of state legislatures or ratifying conventions to pass the amendment. Congress can set whatever deadline it wants, but it can't be just in perpetuity. By the deadline of 1979, 35 states had ratified the ERA. Congress then approved a 3-year extension on that deadline, but that came and went, and there were no new ratifications. There need to be 38 out of 50, 3/4 of the state legislatures or conventions to ratify an amendment and get that amendment added to the Constitution. Nothing happened in those 3 years, and nothing happened again until 2017. You talk about being late to the party. Nebraska ratified the amendment in 2017. A full 47 years after, 37 years, after the original deadline. Illinois followed up the next year, and then Virginia did likewise in 2020. Biden tried to claim today that when Virginia passed the amendment, that the amendment took effect. Now, he's saying this 5 years almost after the ratification, when courts have repeatedly said, yeah, nice try. When Biden's own Justice Department said, no, the Equal Rights Amendment did not take effect, Biden is just sort of saying, yeah, it does. Huh? Yeah, it does. Now, I'm getting a little bit older. I'm noticing some changes. Most notably, I pretty much can't look at my phone anymore without reading glasses. I've got to have cheaters. It's only a matter of time before you see, if you're tuned into the Dano Cam, before you see me wearing them on this show. Now, my ears are pretty good, Paul. Physically, I think I'm still pretty good. I work out pretty much every day. It's the eyes are going. My knee has been bothering me, sometimes my back. I wake up in the middle of the night it's 3 a.m. My brain is like, hey, let's party. Want to read for a couple of hours? I know you don't want to sleep. It's 3 a.m. Let's get to it. But I'm not so old that I'm starting to forget things. Like, for instance, I do remember that Joe Biden 2 days ago was lamenting the fact that social media companies were no longer fact-checking. Anyone want to fact-check this senile dictator that he can't just sort of wave a magic on the Constitution? This Biden is federal arrest.
Americans are buried under an avalanche of information and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies, told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our family, and our very democracy from abuse of power.
That was nights ago. Not last year, not when he was running, 2 nights ago. He was concerned also about an oligarchy, the concentration of power, a small handful of people like Elon Musk. Elon Musk has 0 governmental power right now. Uncle Joe just seized for himself the most awesome power there is to enshrine law, enshrine an amendment to the Constitution. No. I've got a question for every single elected Democrat in state government. Every single one. Every member of the Assembly, every member of the state Senate, Governor Evers, Attorney General Call, everybody. You all unanimously opposed Wisconsin amending its state constitution to add a voter ID amendment. Because we don't need one, right? And besides, as Governor Evers said in his press conference on the first day of the new legislative session last week, or 2 weeks ago, he said, you know what? You know what? We've got a legislature that governs by constitutional amendment. We can't have that. Do you know who gets the final say on constitutional amendments in this state? You do. I do. All of us voters do. It's direct democracy. It's the thing he claims he wants. Do any of those Dems have any issue with one man going against his own Justice Department, going against every federal court ruling that has ever existed on this specific topic, and saying the Constitution is now amended? Because if they don't, if they're totally fine with that, then I'll expect them all to support the move to amend Wisconsin's Constitution. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Conservative thought, not just talk.
Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting. And Flawless Flooring has artisan craftsmen who refinish existing wood floors. Our employee-only team restores stained, worn, dented, gouged, even burned hardwood floors to better than brand new. Better than because today's finishes are far more wear-resistant. Flawless's craftsmen replace severely damaged flooring, keeping what can be restored and even expanding existing hardwood floors meticulously and seamlessly, blending old and new. Sensory Underload, Flawless Flooring, LLC.
Next Tuesday, you'll go to your business. You'll stand there in your office and make decisions. I think when you make decisions, it might be well for you to ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for your business to buy things you need to increase profitability than it was 4 years ago? Does your business have more or less unemployment? Is your business as respected as it was? Do you feel your business is on as secure financial grounds as it was 4 years ago? And if you answer all those questions, yes, why then, I think your choice is very obvious as to who handles your brand and marketing. If you don't think the marketing course is what you would like to see your business follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
And it is improving the economy one business at a time. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com. I'mATishWeb.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Cruise on into the new year with a new or used ride from Lynch. It may be 0 degrees outside, but the bright side is Lynch has 0% financing available to approved credit on select models. With over 1,200 vehicles in stock and brands like Chevy, GMC, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford, plus an unrivaled inventory of fresh trade-in vehicles, now is the time to go to shoplynch.com and pick out your new set of wheels for a fresh new start to 2025. Plus, Lynch has up to $10,000 in rebates available on select models. The Lynch family of dealerships is revving up the savings in January. And with locations in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, and 3 stores in Mukwonago, the team at Lynch is there to help you. It's easy to see why I choose Lynch, and I think you should too. Visit shoplynch.com today. That's shoplynch.com.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood. Or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. Cut and Go trees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk. If you do, don't believe police officers who tell you it's just a ticket and a 6-month suspension. Pay it and put this behind you. You'll likely have to install an ignition interlock device to blow into before starting your car. Protects the public and shames you with your friends and family. Your license will be revoked. You can go to jail for 1 year if caught driving revoked. Even if you swear you did never drive revoked, most people do. With a to and from work permit, one snowstorm, long meeting, or traffic jam, and you're driving revoked. An officer runs your plate while driving, and you're in even more serious trouble. You'll participate in alcohol and drug assessments, a driver's safety plan, and alcohol classes. You could even lose your job. Prosecutors will tenaciously prosecute you without empathy, regardless of your clean driving record. Your first DUI conviction never disappears from your record. Just a ticket and 6-month suspension, and a Scarlet A for life. Charged with an OWI, your best chance is to call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
When it comes to remodeling, everyone has advice about who you should hire. But who can you trust? Your boss? Neighbors? Random online reviews? No. When it comes to remodeling, you can trust NARI. All NARI members are experienced, proven, qualified, and verified by local people who know the industry and have your back. Start your next home improvement project by finding a professional on NARIMilwaukee.org. NARI Milwaukee. Local, trusted, proven.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Monday is Inauguration Day, and WISN will offer extended coverage. Make sure to listen to a special edition of The Benjamin Yount Show, the second Trump inauguration, Monday morning at 10:30 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
WISN.
Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free.
I'm just going to let this beat ride for a little bit. For my money, one of the best riffs in recent rock and roll history. Paul? Any guesses what band this is? I know you can see the name of the song. That doesn't help you. It is the 1975. This song is called Chocolate. I think one of their best songs. If you like rock and roll infused with pop, yes, don't hold it against the guy. His name is Matty Healy, the front man for this British band. He did go out with Taylor Swift for a while. She wrote a number of songs off the Tortured Poets Department about him. In fact, it's thought that the name, the Tortured Poets Department, is a reference to him. The 1975 is a band that is a group of high school friends. I think they actually met in middle school, maybe even elementary school, and they made it to the absolute heights. They have got just incredible music. They've been to Milwaukee Fiserv Forum 2 years ago, maybe. I was out of town. Otherwise, I absolutely would have been there. Just love that song. We have got a bit of a bombshell story coming up for you about Madison's police chief. Milwaukee's police chief, Jeffrey Norman, tried to get out of Dodge, but he was rebuffed in his efforts to take over the Austin, Texas Police Department. Sean Barnes wanted to go to Seattle to be the new Seattle Police Department head. But according to talk show host Jason Rantz, he won't be. And the reason is rather shocking. We will get to that story at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Just absolutely incredible, actually. I don't want to oversell this, but I'm really intrigued by this. It just crossed my desk during that commercial break, and I'm going to dig into it a little more with a couple of sources that I do have in Madison, home of the great WIBA. President Biden is a man just desperately searching for a legacy. He knows what his legacy, in as much as he actually knows anything, he knows what his legacy is very likely to be, and that's the fact that his body and his brain had deteriorated to the point where even his fellow Democrats recognized that there was no chance he was going to win re-election. They allowed him to stay on as president because, as I've been saying for almost 4 straight years now, the real power in this administration is a nameless, faceless cabal of 30 and 40-something they-thems who are actually running the White House. But Biden will always be remembered as the guy who just couldn't do it. He wants a legacy. He needs a legacy. That's why earlier today he just sort of unilaterally declared that the Constitution was amended. So we here at the Dan O'Donnell Show all week long on this, the final week of the Biden presidency, are attempting to do just that, to help him craft his own legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking back at the Biden years to present to you Joe Biden's greatest hits.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm gonna screw it up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And for a few more hours, at least, he is our president. I'll be totally honest with you. I forgot about this one until I was getting these sound bites ready to present Joe Biden's greatest hits. It was the 2022 State of the Union address the entire world was watching because a short time before, Russia had invaded Ukraine. And the entire globe was looking to see how America would respond, how America's leader would rally the forces of good against the evil invader. And, well, Joe Biden performed exactly how you expected him to.
Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never weaken the resolve of the free world.
It's Ukrainian people, Joe. Ukrainian people. Not Iranian people. Ukrainian people. This actually got me thinking because we've been making fun of President Biden and jokingly saying these gaffes are his legacy. I'm actually curious. What will you remember most about Joe Biden's presidency? I'm not going to do this as, let's text in jokes. I am genuinely curious. We might sprinkle in a couple of phone calls as well, but if you want to shoot me a text, the adventknows.com talk-in text line, 414-799-1130. Reach us toll-free, 1-800-838-9476. You can email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. What was the biggest takeaway of the last 4 years? I think the big 3 will be 1, inflation, 2, the open border, and 3, the weaponization of government at pretty much every level against Biden's political enemies. The one that I think did the most lasting damage to America itself is probably the 3rd, although you import enough third world people, and eventually America does become a third world country. And unfortunately for Democrats, the people that they're importing increasingly are voting for Republicans. So their plan of taking over America permanently by just importing a brand new voter class is not going as planned. I think it's beyond question that the concept of prosecuting political enemies the second they leave office is something that, if it's allowed to continue, if people who populate the government bureaucracies that have prosecutorial and investigative power are allowed to continue in those positions, we really do run the risk of becoming no better than a tin pot dictatorship, where the leader can just snap his fingers and amend the country's constitution. Oh, wait! We apparently already have that. Unhinged Liberal of the Day, next.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
Crews in New Berlin with a crash at Sunny Slope and Glendale. 94 eastbound going to be jammed from the Zoo interchange to 35th. Westbound stopping and going from 16th to Mitchell Boulevard. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank total traffic tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by Red Pilled America.
Once upon a time, I was in an exclusive cult run by powerful elites. That cult was Hollywood. I escaped and created Red Pilled America, a storytelling show that tells the stories Tinseltown ignores. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app.
If you're a woman looking to take control of your financial future, you are not alone. Women are leading the way in business and managing household finances, but challenges still exist. That's why Annex Wealth Management presents the Women of Wealth series every third Thursday. It'll empower you with knowledge and resources to succeed. Join us for collaborative discussions, community building, and learn about key areas of financial planning. Women of Wealth events are free every third Thursday. Sign up at annexwealth.com/events and bring a friend.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. And I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for. So I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares. And that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com because Capital cares.
You got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here for my longtime friends at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Give your home a refresh in the new year. Built Right's New Year's sale and $1 million clearance sell-off are extended. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops 4 generations, 97 years strong, and celebrating 19 years in their Greenfield location. Built Right has the most experienced team and the best selection of affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses in Wisconsin. Built Right's 45,000 square foot showroom has thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses and the most affordable custom order options. You will find hard to find USA made, small scale, Amish made, and real solid wood furniture. Plus, Built Right has the best selection of flippable mattresses, voted best place to shop, and open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Dan sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
What are 3 things you can do during a frozen Wisconsin winter? Well, you can go skiing, or do some ice fishing, or you can take a tropical vacation with Mr. Holland's Home Services. No, despite the rumors, we're not adding a travel agency to our robust roster of services. But with Mr. Holland's help, you can enjoy a tropical getaway this winter without ever leaving your home. Bring the heat of the beach into your abode with our top-notch heating repair, replacement, and maintenance. Relax to the soothing sounds of gently cascading water provided by our prestigious plumbers. Bask in the warm glow of revitalizing light, courtesy of Mr. Holland's expert electricians. Heating, plumbing, and electric, or as we like to call it, the trifecta of tranquility. Escape to the tropics and rejuvenate your January with Mr. Holland's Home Services. 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Want to say aloha to Total Home Comfort? We can help.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. Genetic genealogy has been used in recent years to solve crimes that have gone cold for decades. And now the father of John Benet Ramsey hopes it'll solve his daughter's high-profile murder. John Ramsey telling Fox News Digital he plans to meet with the Boulder police chief next month with a genealogy research rep at his side
to explain what they can and can't do.
This as he pushes local authorities to allow an outside lab to test evidence from his daughter's 1996 case because the late 90s sampling police have
isn't compatible with the genealogy research that can be done now.
Ramsey wants police to retest certain evidence for traces of DNA, including external male DNA that federal officials disclosed in 1997. He says there are more than 20 items in the case that have never been tested. 6-year-old John Benet was found strangled and bludgeoned to death in the basement of her family's home on December 26, 1996. There's more on the story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
Show summaries, podcasts, political tidbits, and the hottest photo galleries in radio. All available to you whenever you demand them at newstalk1130.com. This is where sycophants and chills are shunned, and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Welcome back, Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up after the top of the hour, why is Madison's police chief possibly not going to take over the Seattle Police Department? Well, if a very good conservative talk show host, who you might also see on Fox News, Jason Rantz, is to be believed, this calls into question just the type of guy that Madison's police chief is. We will have that story coming up after the top of the hour. Right now, though, it's time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is actually a pair of them. Jackie Reed, who hosts a podcast, she was the BET Network's lead news anchor for a while, and Joy Reid, no relation, were chopping it up about the 2024 presidential election, and Jackie suggested that it might have been stolen. Joy then goes into her standard screed about Republican voter suppression when Jackie interrupts and said, no, no, no. I mean actual cheating.
So yeah,
what I'm talking about are these conspiracy theories about Elon Musk, somehow using his tech connections, because I don't want to say genius because we know he's not.
Yeah, he ain't a genius.
But those relationships or whatever, because they just seem too confident. And I know, and I'm not saying it was the voting machines or whatever. It just doesn't add up to me with all the support that she had. And I know that for you, and because of what happened with Fox and because what you do professionally with the network, you can't say it was the machines or something like that. But if you think it was the machines, but you can't say, just don't say anything. See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is there are many ways to cheat in an election. And I don't ever put it past Republicans to cheat in elections because they've been busted too many times.
Can someone please alert the Biden Justice Department that we've got a couple of election deniers here? Jackie Reed, Joy Reid, your unhinged liberals of the day. Dan O'Donnell Show, coming right back.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. The pending TikTok ban will remain in place this weekend. Fox's Evan Brown.
The U.S. Supreme Court rules the federal law demanding China-based ByteDance sell the TikTok app to an American company or face a ban in U.S. markets is constitutional. The decision was unanimous. Federal officials have long held the TikTok app, which has nearly 170 million U.S. users, is a tool of espionage and influence of communist-run China. The law's deadline for a sale is this Sunday, though President Biden says he will not enforce it. President Trump, who resumes office on Monday, says he wants to find a way to preserve the app.
A makeshift memorial for the late Bob Uecker continues to grow outside of American Family Field near his statue. Fox 6's Zoe Chapala.
Fans dropping off flowers, candles, and Miller Lite to honor Mr. Baseball and the imprint he leaves on the hearts of fans and the city of Milwaukee. The Brewers announced Uecker's death just yesterday, the owner telling Fox 6 that he was privately battling lung cancer.
There's still no word about when a funeral or public memorial for Uecker would take place. And officials at Beaver Dam High School have revealed a burn list that is circulated on social media.
The Beaver Dam Unified School District explained that a burn list is part of a TikTok trend. The list is meant to be burned to release negative emotions associated with people, places, or things on the list. The district superintendent said law enforcement found a short video of students using the burn list. School officials say no credible physical threat is associated with it. They're working with law enforcement to determine disciplinary actions against the students involved. Ted Allen, Wisconsin Radio Network.
The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feed store. The Dow up today, 334 points. The NASDAQ gained to 291, while the S&P rose 59. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Bucks going for their 6th win in their last 7 games tonight. They're home to play Toronto at Fiserv. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, WISN News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Windy and warmer today with highs in the middle 40s. Clouds increase this afternoon with a slight chance for evening wintry mix. Then much colder Saturday morning with lows in the teens. Will only reach into the low 20s Saturday afternoon. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop limited time deals during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Valid 1/13 through 1/24 while supplies last.
You know, the new year is a great time to reconsider how we do things, like how to make things better in 2025. Like when it comes to the whole struggle of how to pay for your health care, people generally are not happy with the status quo. But there's good news. There's a much better option, and it's proven too. MediShare is refreshing. You can save thousands of dollars a year. Many save up to $500 a month, seriously. And you get to choose from a huge network of doctors and providers. And maybe the best part, and we know this from research on why people join MediShare, they love this. Instead of sending your money every month to a huge corporation that might fund all sorts of procedures or things you don't believe in, you're joining a faith-based network of people who actually care about each other. And like I said, that's refreshing. There is a better option. You don't have to do it the way you've always done it. You can make a change and start saving now. Here's the number. They're easy to talk to. Call 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
Hi, it's Jerry Budd. You know that feeling you get when you realize you're dealing with a company that cares about you, not just as a customer, but as a person? That's the overwhelming feeling I got when I bought my vehicle at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. The Holiday staff was attentive, patient, totally engaged, and they listened. That inspires confidence, and confidence inspires trust.
Make your drive into 2025 in a new Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or a GM-certified pre-owned model and save during the New Year's sale at Holiday. Connect with us for enticing offers. Get our low simplified price plus deep closeout savings on remaining new 2024s. Already driving a Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC? Ask us about GM loyalty rewards that may benefit you or someone in your household. They're available on many Wisconsin new car favorites this month. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac and at holidaygm.com.
It's worth the trip.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD IV Ketamine Therapy Centers. IV ketamine is superior to ketamine lozenges. If you suffer with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, listen to real R&R MD patient feedback.
My treatments helped greatly reduce and eliminate my chronic back pain.
I've tried many therapies for depression, and this has been the most impactful. The environment is relaxing, and the staff are incredibly kind.
Amazing, life-changing, wonderful. Dr. Jennifer changed my life for the better with ketamine infusions.
R&R MD helped me deal with anxiety and be more calm with hectic things going on. Years of talk therapy can't do what this did in a few sessions.
Intravenous ketamine infusions take about an hour at our Brookfield or Mequon R&R MD locations. Relief can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com. That's rnrmd.com.
When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing.
Does it seem like storms travel hundreds of miles out of their way against prevailing winds to keep your basement damp, wet, moldy, even flooded? It isn't going to resolve itself. Freezing and thawing over time expands damage to walls, foundations, and even your family's health. That's not purified water seeping or running through your basement walls. It's filth, carrying every sort of bacteria, fungus, and mold. Only Ryan Waterproofing has an estimator project coordinator you'll love. Ashley's expert, honest, and will make you comfortable with the solutions proposed, and she'll be with you every step of the project. Doesn't matter how bad the cracks or sag in your basement walls are. Ryan has affordable sealant and water abatement solutions for most basements, with convenient financing options including 18 months no-interest financing. You actually might enjoy walking in the rain when it's not in your basement. Contact Ryan today, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com. Call Ryan.com.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Here he is, Mr. Baseball himself, Bob Uecker.
Get up and get out of here.
The voice of the Brewers, the soundtrack of summer for so many in Milwaukee and throughout the entire state of Wisconsin, is now silent.
Years have slipped away like a blink of an eye.
Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, died today at the age of 90.
Yet, the memories live on forever. Good night, everybody.
One of my favorite things in reminiscing about the life and times of Mr. Baseball Bob Uecker has been seeing the tributes that have been pouring in, and none has been quite so poignant as what's been left outside of his statue, right under at the feet of his statue, outside of American Family Field. Flowers, sure, jerseys, baseball cards, but tons of cans of Miller Lite beer. Wisconsin, we know how to say goodbye to one of our own. Probably I would argue, the most famous Miller Lite pitchman, at least to us here in Wisconsin. Have we heard any details about a funeral? Is he going to... Are the Brewers going to have the casket lie in state, as it were, at American Family Field, which I actually thought would be a pretty darn good idea, so that fans could pay their respects? Maybe you put the casket at home plate and you can have people file through on the track. Yeah, why not? I don't know. That's a good question. Paul wants to know what the precedent is. What happened when Harry Carey died? I mean, Carey sort of split his time between the Cardinals and Cubs. I mean, he was very beloved in both cities. But I would argue that Uecker is far bigger to Milwaukee than Carey was to either Chicago or St. Louis. I'm sure I'll get some grief for that, but I apparently got it wrong. The Brewers returned to baseball. The baseball returned to Milwaukee. The Brewers' first season was 1970, and Uecker actually came on in 1971. So I was saying yesterday, on reflecting on his passing, that he was there for every single season of Brewers baseball. That's not accurate. 2025 will be the second ever season without Bob Uecker calling games. Sad nonetheless, Mr. Baseball passing away yesterday at the age of 50. I know I'm dead serious about this. I hope the Brewers do. I mean, Uecker was so beloved by so many people. He meant so much to so many people. I think that's what he would want. I mean, you don't do an open casket or something like that. And frankly, I don't know what his wishes were. Cremation, burial, I don't know. But you put the urn, you put a giant picture. I'm sure this has been discussed. I think it would be a great way to honor him. It would allow the fans a reason to, get together to the ballpark in the dead of winter and honor a man who was a part of all of our lives for so long. Dan O'Donnell Show, 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. We are asking you, what will you remember most about Joe Biden's presidency? A lot of people saying the same thing. The Dark Brandon speech was a big one. Let's go, Brandon, is another one. That was Pretty hilarious. This one, though, stuck out to me. Dan, I'm a combat veteran of Afghanistan. I will never forgive the pullout, God rest the souls, of our 13 brave service members at Abbey Gate, Captain Tim Patterson. That would be the big one. And that was the exact moment that Biden lost the American people. I've been talking about this ever since it happened. It was August of 2021. You can actually see the doomsday cross of approval ratings, where Biden went from most of the country approving of him to most of the country disapproving of him. And it was at that exact moment, because America was humiliated, all so that this idiot could say 20 years after 9/11 that we had pulled out of Afghanistan, even though the situation on the ground did not allow for the type of pullout that Biden wanted, and the way that it was bungled allowed for death, destruction, and terrorism that did kill 13 American service members, as well as dozens of innocent Afghan citizens. So what will your biggest memory be? We'll take your phone calls. We'll take your texts. But we are also helping President Biden with his legacy by going back through our audio archives to present to you Joe Biden's greatest hits.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm gonna screw it up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And he, for at least another couple of days, is our president. One of my favorite moments, and I have been waiting to play this one all week long. I knew I was going to play it on Friday because it might be my favorite Joe Biden moment of the entire presidency. Regaling reporters with the story of Uncle Bosie, who was shot down in World War II and eaten by cannibals.
Back when D-Day occurred, and on Sunday, the next day, my mother's 4 brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military. Every one of them volunteered. And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, Brosie, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there used to be a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
No, none of that was actually for real. There are verifiable details about Bosie's life. He was not shot down in New Guinea. In fact, even the president of New Guinea scolded President Biden for perpetuating harmful stereotypes that everybody in his country is a cannibal. Bosie was not shot down. He was not a pilot. They had mechanical difficulty and they went down somewhere in the Pacific. It was not right after D-Day. Pretty much everything the president said was totally wrong, but it being Biden was still unintentionally hilarious. Your phone calls, your big takeaway from the Biden years, to me, it's the weaponization of government. It is the crackdown on social media, the biggest violation of free speech I think anyone has ever seen, which actually started before the Biden administration took office in January of 21 with the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop, but then really kicked into high gear, according to Mark Zuckerberg, with the rollout of the COVID vaccine and all of the suppression of information, all of the draconian mandates for mask wearing, for vaccination, for all of it. That, to me, it's just the complete and utter misuse of government. The weaponization against not only political enemies, but everyday citizens. including in the prosecutions of the January 6th defendants. That's my big takeaway from the Biden years. I do need to get to this story. It comes to us from 770 KTTH in Seattle, Washington. The radio host Jason Rantz, who also appears pretty regularly on the Harris Faulkner show on Fox News, reports that Madison's police chief, Sean Barnes, who is named to be the new head of the Seattle Police Department, failed a polygraph exam as part of the city's pre-employment screening process, according to a police source made familiar with the results. Speaking to the Jason Rantz show on KTTH on the condition of anonymity, that source said that during the course of the hiring process, Barnes took a polygraph examination and failed it. Rumors have been swirling within the department for the past several days, and it's unclear what answer or answers led to the alleged failed polygraph exam. But this exam, conducted by the King County Sheriff's Office to ensure no conflicts, is designed to verify the accuracy of the information provided by candidates during their application and background investigation. Since results of polygraph exams are not typically made public nor subject to disclosure requests, the Jason Rantz show on KTTH cannot independently verify these claims. Sources, however, have said that there has been an increase in the number of failed polygraph exams as of late. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell's office did not respond to multiple requests for comment by various publications. A spokesperson for Seattle Police referred the Jason Rantz show to the mayor's office, as Barnes is not yet an employee of the department. The King County Sheriff's Office also referred requests for comment to the mayor's office. Now, as of about an hour and a half ago, the mayor's office disputed this claim. A spokesperson for the mayor said, quote, "The city's Human Resources Department reviewed the background investigation of Chief Barnes and reported to the mayor that there were no adverse findings." That, according to Jamie Housen, Director of Communications for the Office of the mayor. The city of Seattle described the process as needing to satisfactorily complete the polygraph. As previously reported by KIRO News Radio, quote, "It's up to the Seattle Police Department to determine what to do with the applicant's test results. The pre-employment process has come under scrutiny because in Seattle, the passage rate is much lower than on comparable tests." Beyond the polygraph, Housen, the spokesman for the mayor, noted the background investigation also reviewed Barnes's previous work experience, including talking to his past law enforcement associates. Housen explained, Mayor Harrell fully supports Chief Barnes. He is highly qualified, respected nationally, and will bring a wealth of experience to Seattle when he assumes his duties next month. Now, the process that led to Barnes's selection in Seattle was apparently very secretive. It happened on December 20th, so a lot of people, including in Madison, where we broadcast on WIBA radio, the great 1310, had no idea this was going on. Now, you might remember December 20th was the Friday before the Christmas holiday. Monday the 23rd was a day that almost everybody took off because you could get a quick 5-day Christmas break weekend if you just took one day off. So this was the day that everybody was checking out. They used that day to announce that they had hired Chief Barnes. The selection process, according to mynorthwest.com, the website of 770 KTTH and various other media entities out there, the selection process was criticized by many within the department as lacking in transparency, since the Seattle Police Department was mostly left out of the process. Instead, Harrell leaned on his office staff to spearhead the process. So in picking a new police chief, they decided not to go with the police department's recommendations and essentially froze them out of the process. Seems like a good thing to do. Now, as for whether Chief Barnes actually did fail the polygraph, I've been doing this long enough to sort of read through some of these non-response responses. When the entity that administered the polygraph refuses to answer, when the entity that Barnes is going to be taking over refers also all questions to the mayor's office, what they're doing is saying, okay, hey, we all know the truth, but Mayor Harrell, you're going to have to explain this one. Now, I have no idea what Barnes could have possibly said to fail, nor do I know, and I should make this abundantly clear, nor do I know if he actually did fail. I'm saying based on the reporting here and based on the responses of both the sheriff's office and the police department out in Seattle, it is more likely than not that he did, in fact, fail this polygraph exam. I have no clue what he could have possibly said. If they're just asking him things about his background, things about his resume, could it be that maybe he, I don't know, engaged in a little bit of puffery? He inflated his curriculum vitae? I don't know. I really don't. Nor, again, do I know if he actually did fail. But if it comes out that he did fail a polygraph test, how exactly could he possibly run either the Seattle Police Department or, if he doesn't end up getting the job, because remember, he was named to take over this department almost a month ago on December 20th. It's January 17th. He has still not taken office. He has still not moved out to Seattle. As far as I know, he's still the chief of police in Madison. What gives? Sure, I mean, you got to move cross country. It's a pretty big deal. But a month? Seems like a long time. If he doesn't get the job, would you still feel comfortable with a chief of police for the second biggest city in Wisconsin failing a polygraph test? Now, it is also possible. The reason that polygraph tests typically are not often admissible in court is they are notoriously unreliable. If someone, I don't know, has a generally fast heartbeat, people who, do you know who can beat polygraph tests? Psychopaths. People who can just lie without their heart rate increasing. And what was the old line on Seinfeld? It's not a lie if you believe it. So people who can lie, for example, who would be a great liar? Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton would be able to probably easily pass. He would be able to say, I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. And he'd pass it. Well, yeah, that's what he said. Isn't that what I just said? Oh, just sex. Yeah, he did say, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. It was actually, it's one of those things like Luke, I am your father, that is constantly misremembered. It's people say, I did not have sex with that woman. And it's actually, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. And of course, saying sexual relations is open to interpretation. We will come back with your phone calls, memories of the Biden years, and much more here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Down 41-45. You're going to be slow Appleton to Capitol. 15 Good Hope to the Zoo. 15 over on 43 as well. Your southbound delays are from Capitol down to the Marquette. Down to 43-94, slow into National. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank total traffic tip line at 414-944-5111.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Attorney Tom Grieve here for Divergent Family Law. You really believed your paths were one and the same until death do you part. Your best interest was their best interest. Increasingly, it's clear you are on divergent paths, having grown apart in interests, goals, even morality. Having made it through the latest battery of holidays, you're now resolved to make your own way. Divergent Family Law's experienced attorneys who will make sure your path is not the lesser of two traversed as you go separate ways. Wisconsin statutes have no provisions for love, hate, or anger. clear. Divorce is the disassembly of a legal contract, the division of assets, and the legal assignment of responsibility for property that cannot be physically divided. No judge or parent can split children in two, physically or emotionally. Family law is experiential. With Divergent Family Law, the outcome is predictable. Our attorneys can tell you up front with considerable accuracy the details of your divorce decree because we know Wisconsin family law. We know the adjudicators and we know your rights. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
Next Tuesday, you'll go to your business. You'll stand there in your office and make decisions. I think when you make decisions, it might be well for you to ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for your business to buy things you need to increase profitability than it was 4 years ago? Does your business have more or less unemployment? Is your business as respected as it was? Do you feel your business is on as secure financial grounds as it was 4 years ago? And if you answer all those questions, yes, why then, I think your choice is very obvious as to who handles your brand and marketing. If you don't think the marketing course is what you would like to see your business follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
And it is improving the economy, one business at a time. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com, I'nADishWeb.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you. It's deer season in Wisconsin, but I'm not talking about hunting. I'm talking, unfortunately, about car crashes. If you're unlucky and get into a collision with a deer, you could be entered into Mander's Hit a Deer, Win a Deer contest. That's deer as in John Deere, as in a brand new John Deere tractor mower. My friends at Mander want to add some positivity to what can be a stressful, traumatic event. So now through February 28th, anyone who hits a deer and has their vehicle repaired at any Mander Collision location will be entered into a drawing for a new Deere tractor. Hit a Deer, Win a Deer, now through February 28th at all Mander locations. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
This season, the Green Bay Packers and Network Health have partnered to honor active duty military members, veterans, and their families as part of the Operation Fan Mail campaign. Those honorees will receive 4 tickets to a future game and will be recognized on the field prior to kickoff. To submit a nomination, search Packers Operation Fan Mail or mail in an essay to P.O. Box 10628, Green Bay, Wisconsin, zip code 54307.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
Bathrooms and kitchens are our specialty.
We use real wood cabinets and quartz tops to make beautiful rooms you will love for many, many years.
And our experts really know their stuff.
Remember our slogan,
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management, know the difference. Conservative thought, not just talk.
You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
It is the final day of Joe Biden's presidency, final weekday, final work day, and I wouldn't believe that he was actually working today if he didn't come out and just sort of declare that the 28th Amendment, which was first passed by Congress in 1972 and never, ever, ever ratified by 3/4 of the states within even 40 years of the deadline set by Congress, that, you know what, we've got a 28th Amendment now. I wouldn't have believed that he was actually working today. We know he's not going to work tomorrow. We know he's not going to work Sunday. As one of our listeners reminded me, this is the last day I will be doing a show during the Biden administration. I just realized that right now because Trump will be sworn in at 11 o'clock Central Time. It is a little bit of a liberating feeling, Paul, and we are going to have all sorts of fun covering the first 100 days. President Trump is promising the first day to be action-packed with executive order after executive order after executive order. He does have both houses of Congress, and believe it or not, he's even got Democrats behind him, getting the Laken-Riley Act through a filibuster with 10 Democrats supporting all Republicans in advancing this to the full Senate, where it is now expected to pass. This is huge. This is absolutely massive. This is the first, by my calculation, the first enforcement action that Congress has passed, and President Trump will undoubtedly sign, that isn't tied to some form of getting more people across the border and in, or more money for the resettlement of migrants, or more money for illegal immigrants since the 1990s. But we are asking you, as the Biden administration comes to a close today, okay, technically Monday, what is your biggest takeaway of it? Let's go to Mike in Waterford. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hello, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. This is something that I heard on one of the talk shows on the radio. It was, even though Biden is the most powerful man in the world, if you owned a 7-Eleven, would you let him run your cash register?
Probably not. No.
That's something that's stuck with me for 2 years now, and I just can't let it go.
That is actually kind of hilarious. I wouldn't let him run my 7-Eleven location because I'm fairly certain he would launder the profits to his ne'er-do-well son. Tom in Greenfield up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Your impersonation of Monica Lewinsky's ex-boyfriend was primo. Work on the Jack Nicholson one, and you can handle the truth. Anyway, I vote for the withdrawal from Afghanistan. It made Fall of Saigon look like Rebecca Sunnybrook Farm.
Yeah. That was, I mean, I wasn't alive for the fall of Saigon. I can only imagine that seeing...
It was more organized. It was more organized than what you saw in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've watched enough documentaries on it. Everybody remembers the picture of the roof of the embassy and the helicopter and everybody getting on. This cost American lives. And the fact that no one was ever held accountable for it, because that would have meant that Biden would have been forced to, and Democrats would have been forced to admit that this was their fault. That, to me, was unconscionable. It was a slap in the face. And then, of course, the indelible image of Biden looking at his watch during the dignified transfer of the remains of those 13 service members. He lost the country in that moment, in those few days with the Afghanistan withdrawal. That's when he lost the country, and he never regained their trust, their respect. Certainly not mine, but he leaves office with something like a 64% disapproval rating. I mean, this is abysmal. He wasn't just seen as a bumbling idiot. This guy is seen as reviled. And I think the thing we should all maybe thank this failure of a president for is being so bad that it forced a whole lot of people to take a second look at Trump and to reassess the Trump years and say to themselves, was it really all that bad? Maybe Trump wasn't so Hitler-esque after all. I think I might vote for him in 24.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
Looking at a little over 20 minutes on both sides of your 94 trip. You got eastbound delays starting at 84th, clearing up after 27th. Westbound jam from the Marquette over to Mitchell Boulevard. And again from Highway 100 out through Moreland. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Total traffic tip line 414-944-5111.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
The Mark Belling podcast debuts on May 1st. No holds barred, freewheeling, and going after topics the mainstream media won't touch. Conservative? Yes. Intelligent? You betcha. Freewheeling? I don't know any other way. 35 years on the radio transitions to my first year in the brave new world of podcasting. The Mark Belling Podcast on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcast. May 1st. Talk to you then.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're craving fresh, hot coffee, a tasty bakery treat, or a quick grab-and-go meal or snack, Quick Trip is your go-to for variety, quality, and fast service. You value convenience and a great experience. That's why our team is all about making your day easier and better. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and everything in between, Quick Trip's got you covered. Need to fuel up? Our fully guaranteed gasoline keeps your day moving without a worry. And it doesn't stop there. Enjoy extra perks like free ATMs with no hidden fees, free air for your tires, and sweet loyalty rewards through our Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one place without the hassle. And when you leave, you'll always get a see you next time with a smile. Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
I'm Dave Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring. It's true, there's nothing quite like the scent of freshly steam-cleaned, worn carpet other than a wet dog or cat's litter box. However, Flawless's customer satisfaction-driven, unprecedented growth pinched the Milwaukee metro flooring industry to the point major carpet companies are no more. We've added quality carpeting lines, becoming your true one-stop flooring shop. Flawless Flooring's New Berlin and Delafield showrooms feature virtually unheard of in the flooring industry, upfront, accurate pricing, including installation on every display. Know how much carpet, LVP, or modern laminate flooring you need? You can calculate exact pricing as you shop. Want to expand your existing hardwood flooring? Flawless's employee-only craftsmen strip existing flooring, install new hardwood, then finish old and new together for a perfect, looks all original floor. Lock in purchasing power of today's dollars for money you'll earn up to 21 months from now with Flawless's no money down, zero interest financing. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com. That's FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here.
Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
At Ross Dental New Berlin and Waukesha, our 3D scanners and Ceramic mills create custom ceramic crowns, veneers, and fillings, allowing true same-day repairs, even for teeth in need of substantial restoration possible. When most dentists say one-day smile restoration, they mean 2 or 3 visits. Upgrading your smile with sedation dentistry, caring staff, comfort and affordable payment options in one day is simple. Visit Ross Dental New Berlin or Waukesha, and very soon you'll smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com. That's RossDentalWI.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's hear this tiger purr, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
I'm board-certified plastic surgeon Michelle Bonas. You can look the way you feel inside without risking long-term side effects of injectable fat reduction therapies while saving money with Bonas Cool Sculpting and Cool Tone. Your body, your life, love it. drbonus.com.
The talk shows on WISN Radio. Not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story. Monday is Inauguration Day, and WISN will offer extended coverage. Make sure to listen to a special edition of The Benjamin Yount Show, the second Trump inauguration, Monday morning at 10:30 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
President Biden, his final full day in office. I was going to say final day where he's fully awake, but we're not entirely sure of that. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. We are helping the president find a legacy by looking back at his greatest hits.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm gonna screw it up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And he is the president. For those asking, maybe new to the Dan O'Donnell Show, who sings this song, our Joe Biden theme song? You won't believe me if I told you. It is Jimmy Fallon from his 2004 comedy album. The song is actually called Idiot Boyfriend, but we thought it's just way too perfect. I've been using it since 2021 as our Joe Biden theme song, and it's a little sad because this might be the last time that I'm able to use it. One of Biden's best gaffes has to be one of his most cringeworthy. It was September 28th, 2022, and the president was in Washington, D.C., and he was introducing a bill and shouting out all of the co-sponsors, including Representative Jackie Walorski.
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Jackie Walorski and two of her staffers died in a car crash the previous month. Hey, that's our president. Oh, just, can you get more embarrassing? I get he's the president. Maybe he didn't hear about it. Maybe he didn't, but he was friends with her. And it was just one of those moments where, like, is his brain functioning? The answer, of course, unfortunately, was no. Let's go to Jerry in Waukesha. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Jerry?
Hey, I just want to say that my most memorable thing about Joe Biden is his vaccine mandates. If he had made it a request instead of a mandate, my son might have gotten the vaccine and not died from COVID.
Oh, wow. I am so sorry to hear that.
Him and 6 of his co-workers all passed.
All passed away of COVID?
Yes. 8 people in his department got COVID. Only 2 survived.
If you don't mind my asking, actually, you know what? I don't want. No, don't tell me where he worked.
No.
My goodness, this was 21, 22?
21.
Oh my goodness, Jerry! I am. So, can I ask how old he was?
He was 41.
Oh my God!
My one of Trump's primary objectives, which he never got to do because of all the other Russia, and everything else he had to deal with, was the opioid crisis.
Right.
My younger son died from fentanyl poisoning.
No. In what year, Jerry?
My younger son died in October of 20 from fentanyl poisoning, and my oldest son died from COVID in October of 21.
Oh, Jerry, that I can't even imagine. Oh my goodness,
Until you go through it, no,
I can't even. I have two sons. How old was your younger son?
33.
Oh. Jerry, I'm gonna tell you what. I've got to step aside for a commercial break in a couple of minutes. I'm going to take another couple of phone calls, but I want to pray for you. Is your wife? Do you have surviving children, or are they still with us?
No other children, no grandkids, nothing. It's just my wife and I.
Oh my. Jerry, I'll tell you what, I'm a big believer in the power of prayer, and I can just hear in your voice the pain that even talking about this brings you. I'm going to say a prayer for you and your wife to have strength and to have hope for the future. I can't even wrap my head around what the past 5 years have been like for you. It takes an awful lot of courage to talk about that and to admit that for a lot of families, fentanyl overdose is a source of a lot of shame. But this is the reality of Biden's open border, and that fentanyl has just taken over this country. And your family's story is sadly altogether too common. In fact, I know 3 acquaintances, fortunately no one very close, but who have died of fentanyl overdoses over the past, I would say 5-6 years, somewhere in there. And there's no doubt that it's because it is just, first of all, it's cheaper to manufacture. It is far easier, and it's more potent and intense than heroin. And it's far easier to get here than from the poppy fields of Afghanistan. So fentanyl is just being manufactured in South and Central America and just being trafficked across our highway system that's being used like drug mules from people who are just waltzing across the southern border with it. They're taking migrants along with tons and tons of drugs, or what they're doing is they're sending a whole group of migrants to distract Border Patrol agents, and then they're just sending dudes with a truck or just drugs in backpacks and on their person right around where the Border Patrol might otherwise be able to stop them. So, Jerry, I'll tell you what, I'm going to say a prayer for you. Please know that you and your wife are in my heart, and if there's anything I can do for you or your wife, please don't hesitate to let me know, okay? You reach out, dod@iheartmedia.com. You just say, you and I talked, and if there's anything I can do for you, you just let me know, okay?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right. I'm not sure how we're going to follow that call, but let's go to another Waukesha caller. Jim, you're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, Dan, congrats on the gig. Thanks for letting me follow that one. Holy cow. So my biggest takeaway with Biden is he doesn't know his name, but I disagree with you that today is his last work day. I'm predicting Monday morning he's going to come out with a whole fistful of pardons, pardoning his wife, him, his brother, everyone that might have any type of anything that he owes. There's going to be lots of pardons Monday morning.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it's hard to predict who, but it is clear to me that they're likely going to try to protect themselves from Trump using the Justice Department to get to the bottom of what was actually going on with what appears to be a massive family corruption scheme. We're going to lighten the mood a little bit. I'm going to say a little prayer for Jerry's family. We're going to lighten the mood. The unsung hero of the day coming up next.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
From the Lynch Truck Center, Total Traffic Center, 4145 southbound slows Appleton to Burleigh, southbound 43 in pockets from Keefe to the Marquette. Northbound lanes have all cleared up. Still jammed eastbound 94 from just east of the Zoo to 35th and westbound 16th to Hawley. If you see any issues, call the Total Traffic Tip line 414-944-5111.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
When it comes to remodeling, everyone has advice about who you should hire. But who can you trust? Your boss? Neighbors? Random online reviews? No. When it comes to remodeling, you can trust NARI. All NARI members are experienced, proven, qualified, and verified by local people who know the industry and have your back. Start your next home improvement project by finding a professional on NARIMilwaukee.org. NARI Milwaukee. Local, trusted, proven.
I'm Fred Schwartfager, president of Horicon Bank. We're a family and employee-owned bank serving our communities for 127 years. Last year, we welcomed Cornerstone Community Bank to the Horicon Bank family and President Paul Foy to our board of directors.
That's right, Fred. It was no accident we chose to join forces with Horicon Bank. One might even say it was the natural choice. We shared many of the same characteristics: relationship banking, family ownership, local decision-making. It's been a flourishing partnership working with accessible, innovative, and responsive bankers.
In addition to our branches in Grafton, Menominee Falls, West Bend, and 17 other Wisconsin locations, we now bring hometown banking to New Berlin and our new flagship branch in Wauwatosa at the Mayfair Collection. Our vision is together doing good. We're excited to bring community banking to the Milwaukee area to do good for our customers, employees, and communities. If you're ready to rise above average banking, fly higher with Horicon Bank, the natural choice. Stop by or learn more at horiconbank.com. Member FDIC.
I'm Matt Geyer, founder of MKG Transport, manufacturers from Madison to Green Bay to Fond du Lac to Kenosha to Rockford's competitive advantage. In 2008, MKG was me driving one truck and my wife running the business. We realized communication is a huge advantage for MKG partner businesses. So did they. While MKG Transportation's capabilities quickly expanded, our commitment to local manufacturers' success never wavered. MKG is not a shipping company or messy freight brokerage. We are in manufacturing process delivery experts. It's simple, like seeing freight ready to go on your dock and your MKG mover asking if you need it handled, to becoming an extension of your shop, understanding needs and scheduling, and making sure MKG is prepared to help as and when you need. You'll wonder if your MKG moving team is getting briefings from your work in progress status meetings. Movers care and recognize your consistency is keeping trucks in service and close to be able to handle your needs. Same day, next day. Our drive, manufacturing movement, MKGtransport.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for my longtime friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's New Year's mattress sale is extended. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best brands made in the USA, including Heirloom, Restonic, Therapeutic, Shiftman, and more. Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free store. Built Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you'll get exceptional value and a great night's sleep, as I do on my Built Right Heirloom mattress. They do the research for you, and their team will take the time to help properly fit you. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
The new I Heard app.
Yeah, I've been playing around with it.
Love my radio, love my presets.
Thank you.
This is really easy to use.
Join the millions already on the new and improved iHeartRadio app and set your first preset. Plus, discover the new live radio dial, scan lyrics, podcasts, playlists, and your favorite artists' radio.
Open the app and everything's right there. I love it.
The new and improved iHeartRadio app. It's everything you love about your car radio in the palm of your hand.
Go get it. iHeartRadio.
We report, you decide. Factual, fair, and balanced coverage. Your exclusive home of Fox News Radio. This is News Talk 1130 WISN. committed to covering the important stories and issues that the rest of the media won't touch. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Speaking of tight beats, what's this song called, Paul? Titanic Challenge. Is this by double click on it? ES Posthumous, I'm guessing. Doesn't say. I'm pretty sure this is ES Posthumous in the Dan O'Donnell Show bumper music rotation. I'm thinking, bowing to intense public pressure, I will be spending some time to put together a Dan O'Donnell Show bumper music Spotify playlist. Hey, corporate masters at iHeartRadio, I wanted to use your app. Just get me a premium account so I can do it. I literally will use the premium account for probably nothing else, because what is not, and every time I rip on them, I feel like I have to say, I go on the iHeartRadio app at least once a day. Outside of X, Spotify, and the Safari app, yeah, Facebook, but I use X for show prep almost exclusively. It is so easy to prepare a show. You know everything that's going on. When Elon Musk said he was going to call it the Everything app, he wanted it to be the Everything app. He's not kidding. Speaking of apps, the TikTok ban slated to go into effect after the Supreme Court upholds a law banning it. We will discuss that and its implications coming up after the 5 o'clock news. But first, it's time to name today's Unsung Hero of the Day. And today's Unsung Hero of the Day is Jack Kaufman. You probably don't know the name, but you might remember the story. 11 years ago, as a 7-year-old little boy who was suffering from brain cancer, he went on to the Nebraska football team's spring game and actually scored a touchdown.
So Taylor gets the shotgun set, gives it to Jack. Here he goes. He's got blockers out in front.
There he goes.
Jack is running to midfield. Listen to this crowd as Jack Kaufman, a young man that, as I mentioned, has really been adopted by this football team, just scored a touchdown.
Oh, wow. What a moment.
And both benches empty.
That was a moment right there. Wow, goosebumps.
Jack's favorite player at the time was running back Rex Burkhead, who went on to have a great career, good career in the NFL. He was a superstar at Nebraska, and the two became fast friends. In one instance, Burkhead fired up Nebraska when they were down multiple touchdowns by telling the story of Jack and saying he wouldn't give up. We shouldn't either. Nebraska stormed back with Burkhead scoring the winning touchdown. Jack Kaufman died this week at the age of 19, but in his short life, he raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for cancer research. And though his years were short, his impact will be as long-lasting as it gets. Jack Kaufman, today's Unsung Hero of the Day. The Dan O'Donnell Show will be right back in just a second. Stay tuned.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Expected wind chills in Washington, D.C. on Monday will move President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration indoors.
For the first time in decades, a president will take the oath of office and deliver his inaugural address from inside the U.S. Capitol. President-elect Trump, in a social media post, says the wind chill factors forecasted to fall to the single digits make for dangerous conditions for the tens of thousands of first responders and hundreds of thousands of supporters. He says he's ordered the inauguration, including prayers and speeches, to be delivered inside from the Capitol Rotunda. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Local analysis of the second Trump inauguration will begin during the Benjamin Yount Show at 10:30 on Monday morning on News Talk 1130 WISN. Israel is still considering whether or not to ratify terms of a ceasefire deal with Hamas. Fox's Mike Tubin is in Tel Aviv.
Really, at any time now, we could get word that the Israeli government has approved this ceasefire hostage release deal that could ultimately lead to the end of the war. Once the government approves it, it doesn't need to go before the full Knesset for approval. So as early as Sunday, just afternoon, we could start to see phase one of this deal start to be implemented. Phase one will begin with the release of as many as 4 Israeli females who are held in Gaza in Hamas captivity.
And Kid Rock will be coming to Milwaukee later this spring. Today, he announced a stop at Fiserv Forum Saturday, March 29th. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers have signed right-handed pitcher Elvin Rodriguez to a 1-year contract. He has previously pitched for both Tampa Bay and Detroit. Rodriguez pitched in Japan last year. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, WISN News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Windy and warmer today with highs in the middle 40s. Clouds increase this afternoon with a slight chance for evening wintry mix. Then much colder Saturday morning with lows in the teens. Will only reach into the low 20s Saturday afternoon. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by PureTalk.com. It's time to ditch big wireless. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on America's most dependable 5G network. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell from Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Remember looking forward to playing with your kids or grandkids and having the energy to? At Total Health, we hear it all the time. People say I'm too tired and worn out to be the person my spouse married or parent or grandparent my family deserves. Sound familiar? Total Health naturopaths find root causes of fatigue and lethargy, then treat you, the whole person, restoring energy and overall wellness. It could be dietary or thyroid function, or maybe you just need to drop some weight. Big Medicine's weight loss injection causing stomach, gallbladder, intestinal, and vascular problems works for them. Sick people are profitable. If excess weight is a contributing factor to you not feeling your best, Total Health naturopaths will never judge you. We'll be honest, providing the tools and motivation to lose weight. Then we'll be with you throughout your journey to feeling happy, healthier, energetic, and well. Be that person your family deserves. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk. If you do, don't believe police officers who tell you it's just a ticket and a 6-month suspension. Pay it and put this behind you. You'll likely have to install an ignition interlock device to blow into before starting your car. Protects the public and shames you with your friends and family. Your license will be revoked. You can go to jail for 1 year if caught driving revoked. Even if you swear you did never drive revoked, most people do. With a to and from work permit, one snowstorm, long meeting, or traffic jam, and you're driving revoked, an officer runs your plate while driving, and you're in even more serious trouble. You'll participate in alcohol and drug assessments, a driver's safety plan, and alcohol classes. You could even lose your job. Prosecutors will tenaciously prosecute you without empathy, regardless of your clean driving record. Your first DUI conviction never disappears from your record. Just a ticket and 6 months suspension, and a Scarlet A for life. Charged with an OWI, your best chance is to call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
Attention to quality and detail. BellmanHomes.com.
Bellman Homes.
Kowal Investment Group is a registered investment advisor. Call 262-522-4040.
News about you and your money. The Business Report from the Kowal Investment Group.
Good afternoon. This is Alyssa Johnson with your closing business report. The major averages moved higher today to notch the first weekly gains of the new year, amid a rise in tech stocks, strong earnings from major banks, and back-to-back reports showing somewhat softening inflation pressures. Meanwhile, shares of Tesla rose 3% amid speculation that Elon Musk could potentially buy TikTok. The short-form video app needs to find an American buyer, or it will face a nationwide ban starting next week. At the close, the Dow was up 335 points, the S&P was up 59, and the NASDAQ was up 292. The new year is the perfect time to meet with one of our fiduciary advisors to review your financial plan. To get started, visit thekowalway.com or call 262-522-4040.
Here he is, Mr. Baseball himself, Bob Uecker.
Get up and get out of here.
The voice of the Brewers, the soundtrack of summer for so many in Milwaukee and throughout the entire state of Wisconsin, is now silent.
Years have slipped away like a blink of an eye.
Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, died today at the age of 90.
Yet, the memories live on forever. Good night, everybody.
All of us in the Milwaukee community, Wisconsin community, we are still feeling an incredible, just deep sense of loss of Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. He was, as we spent a good amount of the show yesterday, hearing from Bob in his own voice, hearing from some of his friends tell funny stories about him. One of my favorites, in fact, probably my favorite, because I was hearing this as a member of the Brewers broadcast team for a few years in there, well before it made national news. And that was Bob Uecker and the cough button. How Bob would use the cough button to tell relatively inappropriate jokes to people who were in the booth with him. And he would do this very often. Well, he did it with Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald in the booth. Artie Lang, a longtime cast member on the Howard Stern Show, very successful New York stand-up. Norm Macdonald, of course, SNL, the host of Weekend Update, and was actually one of Bob's very, very good friends. Well, after Artie Lang told the story, I can remember talking with the president of the Brewers Radio Network at the time, a guy by the name of Carl Mall, who took a furious phone call from Bob, who said, "These guys can't tell stories like this about me on television." And Carl had to sheepishly say, "Bob, what can I do? It's the David Letterman show. I can't do anything about this." A few months after that, Letterman thought this was so incredibly funny. Lang told the story about Bob Uecker doing the cough button that he just had to, the next time he had Norm Macdonald on, ask Norm about Bob Uecker. This is one of the hardest I have ever seen David Letterman laugh. In all my years of watching Letterman, he was losing his you-know-what listening to Norm Macdonald in this 2-minute story talk about spotting John Fogerty with Bob Uecker.
Now, Norm, we're running out of time, but I would be remiss here if I didn't bring up something. People have been bothering me about this for months and months. People come on the show and they say, the next time you see Norm Macdonald, he's got some tremendous stories about the great Bob Uecker. Now, do you have a story you can tell us about Bob Uecker? Voice of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, Bob Uecker is one of my best friends. He's a great man. I know Artie told a story when he was here, and Bob was not too thrilled with that. But
it's Artie Lang you're talking
Artie
about.
Lang, yeah. But Bob is a very, very funny man, and I often go in the booth with him, you know.
Oh, sure.
So one time we were there, and John Fogerty was in the audience. Mm-hmm. You know, a fortunate son, you know. So John Fogerty was there. So Bob Uecker is a very interesting guy. He thinks of everybody as the same. He doesn't think of people as stars or anything like that. He's a very down-to-earth guy. So he was talking to me, and he says, "Hey, man, you know that guy?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's John Fogerty, rock and roll singer." So I go, yeah, I know who it is. He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "But I played in a golf tournament with him." He goes, "You probably think of him as some that likes to bite the heads off of chickens, but this guy can..."
Like he's Ozzy Osbourne?
That's exactly how I think of him.
This guy can get it out of the sand trap like nobody's business.
Listen to Letterman. Listen to him guffawing.
He goes, "He's got a hell of a set of pipes on him." He goes, "Come the seventh inning stretch, I'll have him up here. He'll sing for you." So I said, no, Bob, don't do that. Like, don't have him come up and sing for me, please, you know. He goes, "What's matter, man? Don't you even know who he is?" You get all mad. So I go, "Yes, Bob, I know who he is. He did Creedence Clearwater Revival."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, he did all that."
I will forever miss Norm Macdonald, of course, but the great Bob Uecker. That was how he would always have Johnny Carson laughing. How Carson just loved Uecker. It was, and you know, that was it. That was Bob's incredible gift. The self-deprecating humor. Sure, he was an incredibly talented broadcaster, but the way he could just tell a story that made you not want to hear the next pitch. It made you pray that the batter wouldn't put one deep, because you'd want to hear what Bob, you would almost, I loved, and I listened to a whole ton of Brewers games while waiting for my post-game show to start. And just listening to Bob tell various stories from different points of his life, or, you know, different tidbits that he would hear from other players he played with, or guys that he was around. It was really remarkable. It was amazing, and I'm going to forever miss it. You know who else is going to miss it? Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, megastar, baseball superstar. He sent his heartfelt condolences to Bob Uecker and the people of Cleveland who lost their beloved announcer. I'm fairly certain A-Rod thinks that the movie Major League was real, and Bob Uecker was the play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Indians. You know who would be laughing the hardest at that, right? Bob Uecker. We had the 3 o'clock winner in the nationwide Cold Hard Cash contest. Congratulations to Robert from Greenfield, our first winner on this, the first week of the contest. How about we get 2 winners in one program? Cold Hard Cash contest word this hour is, in fact, cash. C-A-S-H, cash. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website, enter the keyword cash to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash instantly. TikTok will be banned in the United States on Sunday. The Supreme Court today unanimously upheld the Biden administration's law requiring that China's company, the parent company, ByteDance, to divest itself from that app. Joe Biden, though, has said that his administration won't enforce the ban. as noted liberal Ezra Klein tweeted a couple of hours ago, for Biden, who is the defender of democracy on his last weekday in office, to go out by unanimously and just by a vote of one, declaring the 28th Amendment to be in effect, while simultaneously not enforcing the law that he himself signed, is quite the look. I actually understand why. The ban goes into effect Sunday. What happens midway through the day Monday? Inauguration. In fact, this is the Biden administration actually doing something good for the incoming Trump administration, because Trump has said, look, I want to negotiate with China. ByteDance is generating a whole ton of revenue for this government. We can shut it down instantly. What's remarkable to me is that just 15% of TikTok's revenue comes from the United States. I did not realize TikTok was as popular as it was in other countries, because everybody under the age of about 30 I know is obsessed with TikTok. Do you know the two apps that young people use more than any others? Paul says LinkedIn. And no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the young people, man, oh man, they cannot wait. They get home from school, they immediately update their resumes. If they're Madison's police chief, Sean Barnes, they then lie about it. Now, I'm kidding. I have no idea if Sean Barnes lied on his resume or was lying. He apparently failed a polygraph test, according to a report out of Seattle, that the mayor's office is now denying. I have no idea whether or not this is true, but I do know the source of this story, Jason Rantz, to be a very, very good investigative reporter, in addition to a conservative talk show host out in Seattle and a frequent guest on Fox News in the daytime. The Biden administration argued that the Supreme Court unanimously agreed with, that this ban does not violate ByteDance's First Amendment rights, because this app is known to be a tool of the Chinese government to collect data on and essentially spy on American citizens. As the court said in its majority of opinion, there is no doubt that for more than 170 million Americans, TikTok offers a distinctive and expansive outlet for expression, means of engagement, and source of community. But Congress has determined that divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns regarding TikTok's data collection practices and relationship with a foreign adversary. Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Neil Gorsuch filed concurrences. Nobody dissented. Every single one of the justices signed on to the ruling, and that's because this was a complete and total no-brainer. There was never a chance that this was going to be ruled unconstitutional. Congress has the authority. You don't get to, if you're a spy for China, claim First Amendment protection in being able to pass information on to China. You can't say, well, you're infringing on my right to speak freely with my Chinese Soviet handlers. No, doesn't work like that. And TikTok is the exact same thing. If it's collecting data and the government provided ample evidence that it is, Congress absolutely can ban it. The national security interest outweighs the interests of Charlie D'Amelio and an army of 7th grade girls dancing in unison, kind of, during study hall. All right? I mean, you don't have the freedom of expression, and this had nothing to do with TikTok's users. It had everything to do with whether ByteDance's First Amendment rights were being violated, because it's saying, look, we have the ability to put this out, and they were also making an argument that this was infringing, it was unconstitutionally infringing on their ability to do business. It does not work like that. But while people are saying, well, the Biden administration is, how dare it not enforce this ban? Okay, if it takes TikTok offline, Trump can theoretically just put it right back online. Now, I feel something like a hypocrite here, because I have been haranguing the Biden administration for refusing to go along with Supreme Court edicts. But the Biden administration does actually have, and the president does actually have in his executive authority, the ability to not enforce laws or to enforce laws the way he sees fit. That doesn't mean rewrite the law. That doesn't mean interpret the law. But if he wants to say, okay, we will enforce this, or we would if we got a second term, we won't in this particular case because Joe Biden is no longer going to be president. The people who are in charge of the Justice Department, the people who are in charge of the Defense Department, anybody who would be in charge of the Department of Commerce, whoever would be in charge of enforcing this ban and actually forcing ByteDance to shut off TikTok, they're going to be gone as of 12 noon the day after the ban takes effect. So in deference to the incoming administration, and Trump has been saying, look, I can negotiate a settlement. Now, you do have to go along with it. And this is where Trump also has a little bit of Biden's tendency to just sort of say, well, I'm not going to enforce this act of Congress. Well, I don't need to do this. Congress said ByteDance has a product that is a national security threat. You need to get rid of it unless it divests. If an American company or if any company that is not a wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese Communist Party buys this thing and takes out the data collection and stops sharing data on hundreds of millions of Americans, 170 million users, then it's fine. Trump, though, has to enforce the ban until ByteDance is divesting itself of TikTok. This is a bit of a conundrum here. How do you ever get any sort of reasonable satisfaction that Xi Jinping, who Trump seems to think he can get to bend to his will, I have my sincere doubts, how do you ensure that he's complying with a ban on the data collection? I would argue that you really can't, and this is the fundamental problem here. What is ultimately, I think, going to happen is TikTok is going to need to be sold. Elon Musk, I know, has made overtures. Kevin O'Leary apparently has a group, the Shark Tank investor. He's a frequent guest on Fox. He says that he's got investors that would be ready to buy it, theoretically, with cash. I believe he said on the Fox Business Network yesterday or the day before. Musk owning both TikTok and X would be potentially problematic. One guy owning arguably two of the 3 or 4 largest social media companies in the world, or at least in the United States, is a very difficult thing from an antitrust perspective. So I would be real concerned about that. But the bottom line is that ByteDance and the CCP know what they're doing with TikTok. Do you know that there is no TikTok in China? It's actually called, I believe it's pronounced Douyin or Douyin. It looks like TikTok. It operates like TikTok. It's a completely different source code. Why this is significant is that the algorithm that Douyin uses to present content to Chinese young people is completely different than the algorithm that's in place to present content to Americans. Douyin, as I understand it, is obviously, being a Chinese app, heavily controlled by the Chinese government and heavily regulated and censored. It promotes educational videos that, of course, glorify the CCP in China, whereas TikTok in America, it's a free-for-all of belly dancing, teeny boppers posting rants about their ex-girlfriends. And I don't know. I don't spend all that much time at all on TikTok. If I ever do, it's because something gets posted to X and it's a crazy... Where do you think I got? For like 2 weeks, we did epic Trump meltdowns. People on TikTok screaming and raging over Donald Trump winning the election. That's pretty much the extent of my TikTok usage. Do some migrate to Reels on Facebook? No, probably not. I mean, Facebook has tried to... Facebook recognized that it was losing its cachet when it acquired Instagram, and that was probably 9 years ago. Facebook has tried with Threads. It's trying to be Twitter without Twitter or X. Reels is very good. I mean, you can't avoid Reels. If you go onto Facebook, Reels is right there in your face. Clearly, Zuckerberg knows what the future is, and it's short-form videos. Long-form content, nope. Attention spans for people under about 25 will not handle anything more than about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. Which is why pretty much every podcast like mine or radio show, you got to cut up everything into 2-minute segments. So, you know, starting when I can train Paul, the ultimate old dog who I'm going to try to teach a new trick to, we're going to get you some software that basically does it for you, Paul, okay? We're going to have short little bits of the Dan O'Donnell show posted across social media. That's how a whole lot of big conservative influencers have expanded their reach. Ben Shapiro is the classic example. He is conservatism made for the TikTok era because he goes to college campuses. You talk about shooting fish in the tiniest possible barrel. He goes and debates liberal college kids. My goodness. If any campus wants to invite me to just debate a bunch of liberal college kids, I would do so gladly. As to make it fair. What did Rush Limbaugh say? Half my brain tied behind my back. I'll go 6 beers in. Get me hooked up with the local frat. I'll do a couple of beer bongs, show up, and just put the college idiots in front of me, and I'll nail them down one by one. Coming up in just a second. In fact, coming up next, it's getting close to 5:30. Let's cast aside the cares of workaday world. Look, most people are already in the weekend. I've got one more half hour. We all want to have some fun. Strangest stories of the past 7 days. How bizarre is coming up next right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
From the Lynch Truck Center, Total Traffic Center, 94 eastbound Moreland Road to the Marquette Interchange takes a half hour. Sea of brake lights from the Zoo Interchange to 35th. Westbound better. Slow from 25th to Hawley, 12 back to Moreland. If you see any issues, call the Total Traffic Zip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time AccuNet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life. But I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Real feedback from Brookfield and Mequon's Reset Restore MD patient.
My daughter's intravenous ketamine treatments made a significant difference in just 2 weeks.
R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because, big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
You know, the new year is a great time to reconsider how we do things, like how to make things better in 2025. Like when it comes to the whole struggle of how to pay for your health care, people generally are not happy with the status quo. But there's good news. There's a much better option, and it's proven too. MediShare is refreshing. You can save thousands of dollars a year. Many save up to $500 a month, seriously, and you get to choose from a huge network of doctors and providers. And maybe the best part, and we know this from research on why people join MediShare, they love this. Instead of sending your money every month to a huge corporation that might fund all sorts of procedures or things you don't believe in, you're joining a faith-based network of people who actually care about each other. And like I said, that's refreshing. There is a better option. You don't have to do it the way you've always done it. You can make a change and start saving now. Here's the number. They're easy to talk to. Call 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. There used to be a day when the national news media prided itself on getting the story right. Those days are gone. Now, it's slanted stories, unnamed sources, and fake news. The goal no longer is to inform you. The goal is to indoctrinate you. Here at News Talk 1130 WISN, our show hosts will give you straightforward information and honest analysis. That is our commitment, and that is our daily mission. News Talk 1130 WISN. Real life, real news, real good.
Don't mean to show off, but we do conservative thoughts, not just talk, I dare say, as well or better than anyone else. We also make time for some fun. Each and every week at about 5:30, we want to head into the weekend without worrying about all the strife of the everyday world. We want to focus on the strange, the silly, the stories that make us scratch our heads and say to ourselves, during a House hearing this week, Jasmine Crockett, Democrat out of Texas, got into a little bit of a beef with South Carolina's Nancy Mace after Crockett accused Mace of saying trans in order to beef up her campaign coffers, and then referred to Mace as child, as in child please. Well, Nancy Mace was not having it.
And see that somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or not
call me a child. I am no child.
Don't
even start. I will not do that. I am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
She actually said you want to take it outside. Now, this comes after Representative Crockett got into it with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene a few months ago. It seems wherever there is Jasmine Crockett, there will be some troubles. Jasmine Crockett, once again, the most entertaining member of the United States Waffle House of Representatives. A French theater known for its radical left-wing programming faces a severe financial crisis. Why? They hosted a refugee conference for roughly 300 African migrants about 5 weeks ago. And the migrants have refused to leave the theater. The occupation began on December 10th and has forced the cancellation of all performances until January 24th at the historically significant 19th century building, the Gaîté Lyrique Theater. I don't speak French and never even studied it, so I'm sure that pronunciation was awful. The theater company is well known in the country for being, even by French standards, very left-wing. It relies on ticket sales for 70% of its income, and it's struggling to meet its overhead costs, including wages for 60 employees. Theater management stated it would be unthinkable for the theater to throw these people out into the street in the middle of winter, so they're just letting them bankrupt the theater. The income has collapsed, according to management, threatening their ability to maintain operations while balancing their humanitarian concerns. The situation sparking tensions among local businesses, theater management, as well as city officials. The takeover began in mid-December with the conference titled Reinventing the Welcome for Refugees in France, which was staged free of charge at the theater. More than 250 African migrants attended the event after being guided to the venue by Parisian activists described as even more left-wing than the theater's management. The migrants listened to presentations from prominent French academics and senior Red Cross officials. But when the event concluded, the attendees refused to leave the building. Their numbers have since grown from the initial 250 to approximately 300 people. Daily life at the occupied theater is marked by general assemblies, signaled by the beating of a tam-tam on the building steps. This is GBN News, Great Britain's news channel, and you can tell the British are just enjoying the heck out of the occupation of the left-wing French theater. Protesters use megaphones to shout slogans, creating what has been described as a noisy and festive atmosphere. The situation has become particularly challenging for Paris's socialist-led council, which owns the building. Oh yeah, the socialists, they can't possibly do what needs to be done or even ask nicely for the African migrants to leave. The council claims to have searched for alternative accommodation for the migrants without success while seeking, what else? Government intervention. President Macron's minority centrist cabinet has thus far declined to become involved in the matter. Local businesses near the theater, which rely on the theater for a substantial portion of their income, have reported significant disruption. A nearby bistro has been particularly affected. Manager Elia, whose parents emigrated from Algeria, said the restaurant has lost approximately £30,000 in revenue since the occupation began. They're ruining my business, she said. They hang around outside my terrace, smoking joints and fighting amongst themselves. No longer do we get theater goers because the theater is shut down. What happened to my music? Let's start it up again.
How bizarre! How bizarre!
Not only do we no longer get theater goers because the theater is shut down, we don't get passersby either. They're being frightened away by all these young men. The migrants occupying the theater all initially claimed to be under 18. It would have entitled them to housing and support from local authorities. Officials, however, determined they were adults following age assessments, leading to many to sleep outside before activists directed them to the theater. The activist group coordinating the occupation has denounced the age testing as racist and exploitative. The group, which is named after a Parisian park where the migrants previously camped, said the theater has become a focal point for the anti-racist and anti-colonial struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's not a cafe, but a theater. It's still wonderful to see these leftists getting their just desserts.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Speaking of Paris, an advertisement from Pakistan International Airlines is under investigation, the country's prime minister said, after it appeared to show a plane flying in the direction of the Eiffel Tower in an image that looks shockingly like 9/11. It was posted to social media about a week ago to announce that the airline would be resuming flights to and from France in January. The ad shows an airplane going towards the Eiffel Tower with the slogan, "Paris, we're coming today." The colors of the French flag are shown in the background. At the bottom of the photo, it reads, "Resuming flights between Islamabad and Paris from January 10th, 2025. The ad is being criticized for its imagery, which is reminiscent of the 9/11 terror attacks. And Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has ordered an inquiry into the ad. You know this guy is thinking, guys, come on. It's been 24 years. They still associate us with 9/11. You gotta go and do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the weekly look back on the Dan O'Donnell Show at the strangest stories of the past 7 days in a segment we call...
How bizarre! How bizarre!
And we are coming right back.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
Northbound on the Rock Freeway, taking about 15 minutes. Highway 164 to the Hale Interchange. You got a medical emergency block in the right lane near Highway 100. 43 southbound Brown Deer to the Marquette, taking you 16. Slammed from Capitol to the Marquette. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank total traffic tip line, 414-944-5111.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
It's the Mark Belling Football Preview Podcast. Mike Millett of American Sports Analysts and I preview the football weekend and give you point spread picks with a special focus on the Packers and Badgers. My producer Paul and an audience contestant make their picks too. A weekend football preview from a betting perspective. My weekly football preview and picking contest is a podcast too. The Mark Belling Football Preview Podcast drops every Thursday evening at 6:30. Available all weekend.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 50% off all windows, plus no interest or payments for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
In today's Marketers Report, Erica Taylor, Chief Marketing Officer of Genentech, weighs in on audio's ability to reach any audience.
Everyone is listening somewhere, somehow. So it's a great way to take something very precise in what we're trying to do to reach patients with something that I think we can all agree is somewhat broad in reaching many, many different audiences.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Hi, it's Jerry Bott. You know that feeling you get when you realize you're dealing with a company that cares about you, not just as a customer, but as a person? That's the overwhelming feeling I got when I bought my vehicle at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. The Holiday staff was attentive, patient, totally engaged, and they listened. That inspires confidence, and confidence inspires trust.
Make your drive into 2025 in a new Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or a GM-certified pre-owned model and save during the New Year's sale at Holiday. Connect with us for enticing offers. Get our low simplified price plus deep closeout savings on remaining new 2024s. Already driving a Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC? Ask us about GM loyalty rewards that may benefit you or someone in your household. They're available on many Wisconsin new car favorites this month. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac and at holidaygm.com.
It's worth the trip.
Slipping on the ice?
Ugh.
Someone else shoveling your driveway.
Ah.
Cold feet?
Ugh.
Toasty tootsies.
Ah.
Waking up to a cold house?
Ugh.
With no warm air coming from the register.
Ugh.
And discovering your antiquated furnace is DOA.
Ugh.
But now, this is you learning that Mr. Holland's Home Services can install a new, fully warranted, highly efficient comfort system.
Ah.
Better yet, you can enjoy consistent, cozy comfort with payments as low as $79 a month with approved credit.
Ah.
Because you deserve it.
Ah.
If your failing furnace is showing signs of old age, be proactive. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services to schedule the installation of your brand new, fully functional comfort system for a low monthly rate. And take your winter from
Ugh.
to 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Ready to put some thought in your we can help.
Bring in the new year at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships. If it's the new year, it's time for a new ride. So plan on driving into 2025 in style at a Cunis Auto Group dealership near you. Your Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis dealerships feature America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC, all at nearby locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. During January, every remaining new 2024 vehicle plus thousands of select pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs are all being discount priced to sell. We've got to make immediate room for hundreds of incoming new 2025s, as well as hundreds of fresh trade-ins from the holiday season. We're paying top values on all trades, no matter what the mileage or condition. Don't forget to check out individual dealership websites for pre-owned vehicles super specials. Plus, January service specials on everything from oil changes, tires, and brakes. Bring in big New Year savings at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships or shop online at shopcunis.com.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds.
Monday is Inauguration Day, and WISN will offer extended coverage. Make sure to listen to a special edition of the Benjamin Yount Show, the second Trump inauguration, Monday morning at 10:30 on News Talk 1130 WISN. No radio handy? No problem. Listen to WISN's live audio stream 24/7 via the web. Just click on the Listen Online tab at newstalk1130.com.
You're already starting to see some of the CYA from soon-to-be former members of the Biden administration. Today, Homeland Security Secretary designee Kristi Noem had her confirmation hearing. Did a great job. Wouldn't expect any less. But the real news was made not in Congress, but on CNBC by outgoing Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who was asked whether he regretted letting millions and millions and millions of illegal immigrants in. Mayorkas seemed to respond by saying that while he disagreed with it, he was just following the orders of the Biden White House.
You have to understand something, and this is not specific to government, but to any large organization, including a government administration. People have different views on what the correct policies should be, what the correct operational measures should be. Those disagreements, those different views are voiced, decisions are made, and then everyone marches in unity together. That is the nature of a large organization, and the government is no different.
But just so I'm clear, are you suggesting your own personal views about how to operate this were at odds, or there was a distinction between your personal approach and how you would have wanted to do it and how maybe your bosses wanted to do it?
I don't want to get into the deliberative process. We're one team and it's one effort, but this is not a revolutionary concept that there are disparate views when one has many people involved in the decision-making process.
What an inveterate liar. This is the same guy who is telling us for years the border is secure. The border is secure. How dare you suggest otherwise? Even as 5 million people a year, it seemed, were waltzing right across the southern border. Now he's saying, well, I was just following orders. Like a good German? That didn't absolve them, Alejandro, and it won't absolve you of blame either. When we come back, our final one in our week-long series, Joe Biden's Greatest Hits. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
From the Lynch Truck Center, Total Traffic Center, 43 southbound taking 15 from Brown Deer down to the Marquette interchange. Westbound 94 from there, add another 10 to Moreland. Eastbound heavier, a half hour from Moreland to the Marquette, jam from the Zoo to 35th. If you see any issues, call the Total Traffic Tip Line, 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by PureTalk.com. It's time to ditch big wireless. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on America's most dependable 5G network. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Skip waiting for a table and enjoy a homemade fish fry every Friday at Sendik's. Enjoy 3 pieces of beer-battered Northern Atlantic cod, fried shrimp, walleye fillets, or baked cod. Each include your choice of original potato pancakes or French fries and all the fixings like fresh rye bread, creamy coleslaw, homemade applesauce, and Sendik's tartar sauce. Every Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at your neighborhood Sendik's. Sendik's Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
Menards is the one-stop shop for huge savings on new energy-efficient appliances. Upgrade your home today and save big on top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. We carry the largest in-stock selection of home appliances starting at the lowest prices and ready to take home today. Check out our entire selection of home appliances on Menards.com. Plus, view the weekly flyer for many other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
In a recent study, over 1/3 of millionaires predicted their ability to feel financially secure in retirement is going to take a miracle. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe a plan, not a miracle, will help increase your retirement confidence. Our team of experts gets to work using leading-edge technology to build comprehensive plans covering investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. And Annex doesn't have products to push with hidden fees or commissions. There's too much of that already. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. More planning, fewer miracles. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
You got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here for my longtime friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's New Year's sale and $1 million clearance sell-off are extended. Give your home a refresh in the new year. Built Right has the most experienced team and the best selection of affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses. 4 generations, 97 years strong. Built Right's one location always saves you money. So tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield, just off I-894.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
At Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, we have finance options for new exterior remodeling projects for almost anybody. And if you have the right credit, we'll beat your bank's rate.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. S&K, pump and plumbing.
When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory Underload Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Here's why. Money. Warshevsky.
Marketing a modern business means finding and serving your customers 24/7 wherever they are. WISN broadcasts are a powerful platform, but there's so much more. WISN's online digital tools are completely customizable, so you can reach your ideal customer through the iHeart app or by using software that actually finds your customers at a specific location or event. These tools are precise, efficient, measurable marketing weapons that you need to use. Combine the power and cloud of WISN's broadcast and digital platforms right now. Go to newstalk1130.com, keyword digital.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced from people you can trust on News Talk 1130 WISN.
I almost have to pinch myself when I open up the show on Monday afternoon. Donald Trump is going to be president of the United States. Man, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lot of fun. We are going to be covering the inauguration on our flagship station, News Talk 1130 WISN, special edition of the Ben Yount Show. If you're not listening to my buddy Ben, you should be. He's fantastic. I myself am a big fan. Unfortunately, I have yet to get up before 11 a.m. since I started doing afternoons. I stay out until like 4 a.m. I'm partying with Big Lou. We're womanizing and taking prescription meds. He's on meds too. You know what really broke my heart? Big Lou is not a real person. He's the imaginary. Big Lou's like you. Well, no, he's not. I'm real. My son actually just texted me. He goes, "That Big Lou commercial is terrible." I'm like, I don't know, son. I kind of want to go party with the man. We are going to be, no, I weirdly enough, I'm actually getting up earlier than I have been. I'm just less tired than I was. I do get a ton of work done. I'm getting up at like 6, 7 a.m. Just like I did. I was getting up at 6 a.m. before. Guess what? My body clock is still getting me up at 6 a.m. But I am going to be joining our coverage 10:30 a.m. Central Time on Monday. We are going to cover the inaugural speech, the inaugural address in its entirety. If time allows, we will have some reaction. And then, of course, I will be back at 3 p.m. to break it all down for you. Now, for the final time, we look back at Joe Biden's presidency with one of his greatest hits.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm gonna screw it up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And he screwed up nothing more than America's founding documents. So, to end the Biden presidency, here is old Joe with a piece we put together, his tribute to America.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. We the people. That's how our Constitution starts, or the Declaration. We the people. people. We hold these truths, etc. That's who we are. The idea is we hold these truths self-evident. It does say we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men who we've never accomplished it. The Constitution says we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal, endowed by their Creator. It's the uniqueness of America. We never fully lived up to it. We never walked away from it.
God bless you, you glorious idiot. Have a great weekend, everybody.
When weather and traffic are critical,